Severe flash floods, triggered by over 254 millimeters of torrential monsoon rain, have devastated Pua District in Nan Province, northern Thailand. The disaster has directly affected more than 16,000 residents across 8,000 households, completely inundating 60 villages and 7 subdistricts. Fast-moving headwater runoff from the Doi Phu Kha mountain range transformed local rivers into destructive torrents. Multiple bridges have collapsed, landslides have blocked mountain passes, and floodwaters have risen near second-story levels in the hardest-hit communities. Emergency military columns, border patrol police, and provincial rescue teams are actively deploying jet skis and heavy trucks to evacuate trapped populations. A catastrophic meteorological event has struck the northern highlands of Thailand, centered squarely on Pua District, Nan Province. Following an intense monsoon system amplified by a strong low-pressure cell drifting from Hainan Island, rainfall levels reached historic thresholds. By the morning of Thursday, August 20th, 2026, the Northern Meteorological Center registered a staggering 254 millimeters of rain within a single 24-hour cycle, with over 110 millimeters falling instantly over the forested headwaters of Doi Phu Kha National Park during the preceding night. The resulting mountain runoff rushed down steep river valleys, causing the Pua and Quang rivers to breach their banks almost simultaneously. A critical automated cell broadcast emergency alert was transmitted by the Department of Disaster Prevention and Mitigation, DDPM, to residents' mobile phones at 6:18 a.m. on Wednesday, August 19th. However, the speed of the rising water left hundreds of families with little to no time to save their belongings, agricultural machinery, or livestock. The disaster has claimed lives, shattered local infrastructure, and isolated entire mountain communities. The Thai government, led by Deputy Interior Minister Jeseth Thaiseth and Prime Minister Anutin Charnvirakul, has formally declared Nan Province a disaster area, unlocking emergency military reserves and mobilizing interagency relief columns to combat the escalating crisis. The human cost of the sudden deluge continues to rise as search and rescue teams penetrate deeply into rural subdistricts. Sinchai, 58, Bedridden Resident. The first confirmed fatality occurred in Mu 8, Sila Phet Subdistrict, Pua District. The victim, a completely bedridden patient living with his elderly mother, was unable to escape when a wall of water breached their residence. The fast-moving current swept him from the structure, and his body was later recovered downstream by rescue divers. A man estimated to be between 45 and 50 years old was swept away by the raging Pua headwaters and discovered deceased in neighboring Pua District, where floodwaters are now migrating downstream. More than 16,000 individuals have been classified as directly impacted, losing access to clean water, food, or safe shelter. Approximately 8,000 households across 60 villages are currently waterlogged, with flood depths ranging from 1 meter to nearly the second-story eaves in low-lying basin areas. The deluge triggered a massive failure of regional infrastructure. Along the mountain passes of Route 1,256, 15 high-voltage electricity poles collapsed entirely, while an additional 23 poles sustained severe structural compromises. This structural failure knocked out electrical transformers, plunging more than 27,000 residents across the district into absolute blackout conditions. Clean drinking water systems have also been disrupted due to mud contamination in local reservoirs and the destruction of the Na Lao irrigation weir system in nearby areas. The flash flood has impacted 8 out of the 12 subdistricts comprising Pua District. Below is an on-the-ground breakdown of the specific damage dynamics across various affected locations. Uwan Subdistrict, situated along the foothills leading to the high-altitude ridges of Doi Phu Kha, bore the initial brunt of the flash mountain runoff. Saturated soils on slopes exceeding 30 degrees lost structural integrity, sending thousands of tons of mud, uprooted teak trees, and boulders crashing onto local village roads. multiple hamlets within Uan remain entirely cut off from ground communication. Debris fields have blocked the secondary road network, preventing standard four-wheel drive emergency vehicles from reaching stranded residents. These subdistricts serve as natural drainage pathways for streams descending from the national park mountains. In Sila Phet deluge, this area suffered the highest velocity of water flow. Streams that are typically shallow torrents expanded into wide rivers within 3 hours of the 110-millimeter downpour. Dozens of wooden homes built near the riverbanks were partially dismantled by the force of the water. Sila Phet is also the locality where the district's first drowning casualty was logged, highlighting the severe vulnerability of isolated and immobile residents in this subdistrict. The low-lying valleys and commercial sectors of Waranakan and Pua subdistricts experienced extensive basin-type flooding. In Ban Rong village, flash floods entered residential quarters around 5 a.m. on Wednesday, catching families completely asleep. Floodwater lines reached nearly the second story of standard concrete shop houses, submerging motorbikes, cars, and ground floor inventories. Markets, local businesses, and agricultural storage hubs have completely halted operations. Mud and silt accumulations up to 30 centimeters deep have been left behind in areas where water has slightly receded. Sathan and Chai Wathana consist largely of fertile agricultural floodplains dedicated to rice cultivation and high-value crops. Thousands of ray of farmland are entirely submerged under muddy brown water. Agricultural experts note that if these fields remain submerged for more than 48 hours, the seasonal crop will be completely destroyed, yielding multi-million baht losses for local farmers. The Nan Highway Office, too, has issued critical route closures after key transportation veins across Pua District failed under hydrodynamic pressure. The most severe infrastructural failure occurred on Highway 1256, the vital high-altitude mountain highway linking Pua District to Bo Klua District, and the tourist tracks of Doi Phu Kha National Park. At a point approximately 6 kilometers outside Pua town center near the Chao Weir, immense hydrostatic pressure completely undermined and washed away the main bridge structure. The gap left by the collapsed bridge has rendered the highway completely impassable to cars, trucks, and motorcycles, marooning travelers and locals inside the mountainous park territory. In response to the expanding crisis, the Royal Thai government has launched an integrated emergency relief mechanism. Operating under the 3rd Army Region, the battalion deployed 50 specialized disaster response soldiers directly to Pua District. Armed with heavy, flat-bottomed trucks, jet skis, and inflatable rescue hulls, troops are navigating swift-moving currents to extract elderly residents and small children from rooftops. Border Patrol Police, BPP Company 325, high-intensity rescues were executed by BPP teams. In one dramatic operation caught on camera, BPP officers waded through chest-deep, debris-filled waters to secure and safely carry out a family of 3, including a young girl, who were trapped inside a rapidly collapsing wooden structure. The district's primary medical center has been placed on high alert. Emergency backup diesel generators have been checked and fueled to ensure life-saving equipment remains operational despite the wider power grid failure. The hospital has established dedicated triage zones for flood victims experiencing trauma, hypothermia, or waterborne illnesses. Local administrative organizations have successfully operationalized 7 designated safe locations and evacuation shelters. These shelters provide clean bedding, dry clothes, and basic medical care. The central government has initiated steps to set up a royally sponsored field kitchen alongside municipal kitchens to supply thousands of hot meals daily to displaced families and rescue workers. The crisis facing Nan Province is expected to evolve significantly over the coming days as floodwaters move through the regional river networks. The Thai Meteorological Department, TMD, has issued a 24-hour weather warning, effective through Friday, August 21st, 2026. A heavy monsoon trough remains positioned across the upper northern region of Thailand, fed by a potent low-pressure system over Hainan Island and strong southwesterly monsoonal winds from the Andaman Sea. Light to continuous moderate to heavy rain blankets Pua, Phrae, Phayao, Lampang, and Chiang Rai. Saturated mountainsides face an ongoing extreme risk of secondary flash floods and devastating forest runoff. While water levels in some upland sectors of Pua District have begun a slow, muddy recession, the vast volume of runoff is actively draining into the primary artery of the region. The Nan River. Tha Wang Pha Red Alert. Authorities have upgraded warnings to a critical red alert for Tha Wang Pha District, located immediately downstream from Pua. The surging waters are racing directly toward the provincial capital, Nan Municipality. Municipal workers and volunteers are working urgently to construct massive defensive lines using sandbags and large water-filled rubber barriers to protect critical infrastructure, residential districts, and Nan Hospital from being breached by the oncoming river crest. The Defense Minister flew to Nan Province today to join Deputy Prime Minister and Higher Education, Science, Research and Innovation Minister Yodchanan Wongsawat, Agriculture Minister Surya Jongrungriangkit, and senior government officials who have been in the province since yesterday to assess and monitor the flood situation as the level of the Nan River rises steadily. At about 7:30 a.m. this morning, the Phuminthali community, located in a low-lying area in the Muang district, is under 70 centimeters to 100 centimeters of water from the Nan River. The famous ancient temple of Nan, Phumin Temple, is also underwater today. Residents of the community say, however, that they are used to flooding which happens every year, adding that they are well prepared to cope with the problem and have already moved their belongings to higher ground. Children and elderly people, as well as bedridden patients, have already been evacuated to safer places. Meanwhile, Nan Nakhon Airport remains open, and flights are operating according to schedule, despite heavy rain and flooding across several parts of Nan Province. Aviation authorities confirmed on Wednesday, August 19, 2026. The Civil Aviation Authority of Thailand, CAAT, advised passengers traveling to or from Nan to check road and traffic conditions before setting out, because access to the airport is restricted in some areas. Travelers should allow at least 3 to 4 hours for the journey to the airport and closely monitor flight information from their airlines, as the rain and flooding could affect both ground transport and subsequent flight operations. Heavy rain, thunderstorms, strong winds, and poor visibility may cause flights to be delayed, diverted, or canceled. CAAT and other agencies are continuing to monitor conditions, with passenger safety and safe flight operations taking priority. Thai AirAsia flight FD3354 from Don Muang was scheduled to arrive in Nan at 8:30 a.m. on Wednesday, but was diverted to Chiang Mai Airport because heavy rain had reduced visibility at Nan Nakhon Airport. Danai Ruangsorn, Director General of the Department of Airports, DOA, confirmed that the aircraft later returned and landed safely at Nan Nakhon Airport at 11:15 a.m. Deputy Transport Minister Phattharapong Phattaraprasit ordered the DOA to maintain round-the-clock surveillance after flash flooding in Pua District, affected 12 subdistricts and 107 villages. Nan Nakhon Airport and nearby airports have been instructed to prepare for emergencies and follow their disaster response plans strictly. Airport staff are monitoring water levels inside and outside the airport and checking drainage channels for blockages to ensure water can flow freely. Surrounding areas are also being watched for any conditions that could affect aircraft takeoffs and landings. Backup generators have been prepared in case the Provincial Electricity Authority's power distribution system is disrupted. Officials have also been told to coordinate with air traffic control, meteorological authorities, disaster prevention and mitigation offices, and the Provincial Electricity Authority so they can respond promptly and assist passengers and aircraft during an emergency. The DOA must also facilitate flights operated by government agencies and private organizations carrying assistance to flood-affected communities. Phat Tharafong instructed the department to prepare further support for residents after the floodwaters recede. Kate reminded passengers that they are entitled to assistance under Civil Aviation Board Regulation Number 101, which sets out measures protecting passengers on scheduled domestic and international flights. The regulation specifies airlines' responsibilities when flights are delayed or canceled, or when passengers are denied boarding, including requirements covering information and assistance. Passengers' rights and any compensation will depend on the cause of the disruption and the conditions set out in the regulation. Travelers using Nan Nakhon Airport should continue checking ground routes and flight status with their airline before leaving, as conditions may change.